What is up, everybody? It's Animac here for AnimeUproar, and today I will be talking about one of the most intelligent characters in Boku no Hero, and a character with one of the craziest, most game-changing quirks in the entire series. I am of course referring to Mirai Sasaki, better known as Sir Nighteye. He is the former sidekick of All Might, the mentor of Mirio Togata, and the person who accepted Deku into his hero office for the work-study program, but only after one of the most interesting job interviews of all time. In this video I will be breaking down everything you need to know about Sir Nighteye and the unique properties of his quirk, which is called Foresight. Before we get into it, I want to give a huge thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Raid Shadow Legends is a new collection RPG game that has just blown up recently with almost 15 million downloads in the last 6 months. I really love the epic dark fantasy setting, the great graphics, strategic gameplay, huge boss fights, immersive storylines, and the over 400 champions for you to collect and personally customize. You can assemble a team from 16 heroic factions, discover 13 spectacular locations, raid with friends in a clan, or claim glory for yourself in the PvP arena. And best of all, Raid is free to play. Just click the link in the description and check it out for yourself. The game is constantly adding cool new features, such as the multi-battle auto mode, which allows you to set battles to run in auto mode while you go do something else. It lets you spend less time grinding and more time doing the fun stuff. The weekly tournaments and events allow you to win extra prizes every week by fighting in the arena, running special dungeons, or just leveling up your heroes. And some brand new champions have just been introduced, including the lovely and creepy Madame Ceres from the Dark Elves faction. You have to check this out for yourself. Just go to the video description, click on the special links, and you will get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program to start your journey. Heads up, this video will cover information about Sir Nighteye's backstory, personality, and quirk. However, I will not be spoiling what happens in the story itself after Sir Nighteye is introduced, and I will not be spoiling the ending of the arcs that will be covered in Season 4 of the anime. If you are okay with that, then by all means proceed with the video. When we first meet Sir Nighteye, he seems like an extremely serious and stern man with a glaring look in his eye. He appears to be the epitome of the serious Japanese salaryman, but we quickly learn that everything is not quite as it seems with Nighteye. It turns out that Nighteye has some very unorthodox means of running his hero office. And these unusual methods extend to how he treats his sidekicks and to how he interviews potential applicants for the work-study program. Nevertheless, Sir Nighteye's methods appear to be highly effective, as is evident from his successful mentorship of Mirio Togata. Mirio was not always the exceptional student that he is today. In fact, in his first year at UA, Mirio is said to have been a bit of an underachiever. But thanks to Sir Nighteye's mentorship, Mirio completely transformed himself, and he quickly became one of the strongest and most successful hero students in UA. As Mirio reveals to Deku right before his interview, despite appearing to be stern and serious on the outside, Sir Nighteye actually values humor very highly, and he requires people to make him laugh before he will show them respect. That is why Mirio advises Deku to try and make Sir Nighteye laugh, but that just makes Deku even more nervous for the actual interview. The reason why Sir Nighteye values humor so highly stems from his admiration for All Might as the symbol of peace. Nighteye was always a massive fan of All Might, a true All Might otaku just like Deku, and he eventually became All Might's sidekick after persistently pestering All Might to accept him. At the time, All Might was not interested in taking on a sidekick, but Nighteye was so stubborn that All Might eventually relented. With that said, Sir Nighteye believes that the ability to smile in the face of hardship and the ability to make other people laugh and smile is absolutely crucial for a successful hero, and especially for the one hero who is considered to be the very symbol of peace. This is why Nighteye admired All Might so greatly. All Might was always able to keep smiling no matter how hard of a challenge he was facing. And this is exactly what put the general populace at ease. The people knew that no matter what happens, everything would be okay because All Might would be there, with a smile on his face, ready to save them from villains, accidents, natural disasters, and just about anything that life could throw at them. Like many other people, Sir Nighteye was worried that after All Might's retirement, no one would be able to step in and fill All Might's shoes. Certainly someone like Endeavor, despite being a really strong hero, does not possess the type of uplifting and friendly personality that can put everyone around him at ease. This is why Nighteye wanted Mirio Togata to become All Might's successor and the inheritor of One for All. Mirio also has that same ability to overcome even the hardest challenges while maintaining a positive outlook and a smile on his face. Just like All Might, Mirio is powerful enough to instill fear into villains and cheery and positive enough to instill hope into civilians. Because of his belief that Mirio should have been All Might's successor, Sir Nighteye is initially skeptical about Deku and he is slow to warm up to him. At this point, it is worth mentioning why exactly Sir Nighteye stopped being All Might's sidekick for those of you who might be wondering. After All Might defeated All for One the previous time, about 6 years earlier, All Might was severely injured. But despite being injured, All Might insisted that he should still keep being a hero as usual. However, Sir Nighteye disagreed. Nighteye believed that All Might should retire and pick a successor, because All Might's injuries were so severe that they could result in All Might dying in battle. But All Might refused to retire, believing that if he retired now before preparing a true successor, the general populace would become uneasy and an era of fear and uncertainty would ensue. Because he didn't want to have any part in his friend's reckless behavior, Sir Nighteye decided to stop being All Might's sidekick and he opened his own hero office instead. Now let's talk about Sir Night Ice Quirk, because part of the reason why Nighteye was so sure that All Might should retire is directly related to the nature of his quirk. The Quirk Foresight gives its user the ability to see into the future of a specific person. If he touches a person and makes eye contact with them, Sir Nighteye can see what is going to happen to that person for 1 hour in great detail. Needless to say, this is an incredibly powerful quirk as it allows Nighteye to predict the moves of his opponents or to find out information about his targets that they never would have disclosed otherwise, such as, for example, the location of their secret hideout. Sir Nighteye can only use this ability once every 24 hours, so that is a major limitation. And the way that Sir Nighteye sees someone's future is very specific. He sees all the events from a third-person perspective as if looking through a roll of film. This means that he doesn't hear any sounds or smell any smells. His foresight works solely on the basis of his visual senses. Another important aspect of foresight is that beyond being able to tell very precisely what a person will do within the next hour, Night Eye's quirk also allows him to gain less specific glimpses into a person's more distant future. So he might have glimpses of events that are going to happen months or even years from now, although he does not know the exact date or the exact circumstances of how the events will unfold. Another major reason why Sir Nighteye wanted All Might to retire was the fact that after All Might's fight with All for One, Nighteye used his foresight to look into All Might's more distant future. When he did this, he saw that 6 or 7 years into the future, All Might will meet a horrible end at the hands of an unspecified villain. Nighteye calls All Might's death too gruesome to describe. And because all of Night Eye's predictions have always come true so far, he begs All Might to do his best to change his fate by retiring and staying out of harm's way. But of course we know that All Might refused and the two friends went their separate ways, although they still maintained an enormous level of respect for each other. Because his quirk allows him to see future events that can be tragic, such as All Might's apparent demise, Sir Nighteye is often hesitant about using his quirk at all. He doesn't want to see tragic events that he cannot possibly stop and then have to live with that terrible knowledge. But the real question is the future that Sir Nighteye sees inevitable, or is it only inevitable if he accepts that this is the way it is? Perhaps the future that he sees was inevitable before, but the very act of him seeing it means that something could be changed. The fact that he now has knowledge of future events that no one else possesses could mean that there is some hope in changing them. After all, when he looks into the future, he is seeing the original timeline, but perhaps he and the people around him can create a new timeline by making changes in the present in order to affect the future. Beyond his quirk, Sir Nightheye's physical weapon of choice are stamped seals that weigh 5 kilograms each and which he throws at his opponents as projectiles. This choice of weapons is definitely in line with Night Eye's Japanese salaryman persona, and in general, Sir Nighteye offers a really cool juxtaposition between conformity and quirkiness, if you'll pardon the play on words. So let me know what you guys think. Do you like Sir Nighteye as a character, and what do you think of his quirk? Feel free to share your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more Boku no Hero content right here on the channel, please leave a like to let me know, it really does help. And if you happen to be new to AnimeUproar, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. The only way to make sure that YouTube will actually notify you is to click the option to turn on all notifications. You could also check me out on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. There I will post all the latest news and updates on MHA, including Season 4 of the anime. Don't forget to check out our generous sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. It's free, just click the link in the description. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.